Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. In our top story, Supervisor of Elections Carolyn Fox, as we reported, says that the 2017 special election calendar is available now. Any registered voter who meets the requirements for the office of the legislature can participate in this special election scheduled to be held on Saturday, April 8th, 2017. Nomination packages are available beginning Tuesday, February 14th, so it's available now. If you have any questions, you can contact the office. Here is more.
Carolyn F. Fox, the Supervisor of Elections, announced nomination packages are available as of earlier today, following the proclamation of the Governor, Kenneth E. Mapp, calling for a special election to fill the vacancy in the 32nd Legislature of the Virgin Islands. Kevin Rodriguez won a seat as a senator on the island of St. Thomas. However, his residency was challenged by another Senate candidate, Janelle Sarro, also from the District of St. Thomas. Janelle Sarro, that ran 8th place in the senatorial elections on St. Thomas, contended that Kevin Rodriguez was not a bona fide resident of the Virgin Islands for at least 3 years prior to running for public office. In line with the revised Organic Act, the legislature shall be the sole judge of the elections and qualifications of its members. And the Virgin Islands Code states that if an election is more than a year away and a vacancy occurs in the office of a member of the legislature, the governor shall call a special election within 30 days following the day of the vacancy occurred. Special election will take place on St. Thomas on April 8th, 2017. Supervisor of Elections Carolyn F. Fox has further details.
I'm announcing to the public that we did put out a press release yesterday to conduct a special election Saturday 2017 for the St. Thomas and District vacant seat of the 32nd Legislature of the Virgin Islands.
Stephanie Brown, News 2.
Election Supervisor Carolyn Fox noted in a letter to Senate President Myron Jackson that an $140,000 appropriation is needed by March 10th, 2017. Count on two to keep you updated. Governor Mapp is calling on the territory's business leaders to support government proposals that will maintain basic human services, including programs for vulnerable children and the elderly, as well as school bus and school lunch services. Governor Kenneth Mapp emphasized it was important that the business community and the Virgin Islands legislature support the Virgin Islands Revenue Enhancement and Economic Recovery Act of 2017 and other recent fiscal bills, which had been carefully crafted to lay a firm foundation for the fiscal health of the territory. The plan includes new initiatives that involve additional revenue, limiting property tax credits and timeshares, as well as consumption taxes on non-essentials such as rum, wine, brandy, cigarettes, beer, carbonated beverages, and internet sales. Well, Attorney General Claude Walker announced yesterday, as we reported in a press conference, that the Virgin Islands Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit against Terminex. The poisoning of the Edmund family vacationing at the Sirenusa Resort incident prompted the Virgin Islands Department of Justice and the Department of Planning and Natural Resources to launch an investigation in which the Attorney General accused Terminex of using illegal pesticides across the VI. Here is more from that conference.
Terminex allowed fumigations to be performed in the Virgin Islands with tragic consequences. Virgin Islands law requires companies to provide consumers with complete and accurate material information about their services. But the complaint alleges that in the pursuit of profits, Terminex marketed, sold, and provided fumigation services by concealing and misrepresenting critical information, including, in many instances, that it was actually using methyl bromide.
Meanwhile, Attorney Walker said a man who was being held on suspicion of sexually assaulting a woman a little more than 2 years ago confessed to the crime on Tuesday. A jury was already seated to hear the case, and the trial was about to begin when Kenrick Smith reached a plea agreement with the prosecution. In accordance with the plea deal, Smith, 53, of Estate Nazareth, admitted guilt by entering a guilty plea to a single count of third-degree assault in connection with the January 14, 2015 incident. At sentencing during allocution, the prosecution will recommend that Smith be sentenced to a 5-year prison term. VI Superior Court Judge Michael Dunstan accepted the guilty plea and has set April 19th as the date for Smith's sentencing. Police arrested Smith on January 28, 2015, after the victim positively identified him as the man who sexually assaulted her. Half a dozen students trapped in a classroom damaged by a major earthquake, another student trapped under a slab of concrete while a small fire erupts nearby. These are the incidents that the St. Croix Central High School and St. Joseph's High School students responded to in disaster drills held over the past 2 weeks. The drills were designed to test the students' newly acquired skills from the Teen CERT, which is the Community Emergency Response Team program. It's a national volunteer program sponsored by FEMA to train adults and teens in disaster preparedness and emergency response. VITEMA manages the Teen CERT program for the USVI, and Mona Barnes, who's VITEMA's director, congratulated and welcomed the new Teen CERT members and welcomed them to the ranks of emergency management. Some town hall meetings are scheduled, and you can join Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett on St. Croix Tuesday, February 21st, 6 p.m. UVI Great Hall, St. John Wednesday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. at the Cleone Henrietta Maynard Legislative Conference Room in Cruise Bay, St. John, and in St. Thomas on Thursday, February 23rd at the new hideout, Victor's new hideout in Sub Bay, St. Thomas. Residents who wish to attend, you're encouraged to RSVP with the St. Croix District Office by dialing 340-778-5900. Hear directly from the delegate. Well, a major blow to President Trump's administration just several weeks into the job. His national security advisor, Michael Flynn, abruptly ended his brief tenure last night after questions about his contacts with Russia reached a fever pitch. With more on the firestorm and the fallout, Kristen Holmes joins us from Washington.
President Trump's embattled national security advisor is out.
The evolving and eroding level of trust as a result of this situation and a series of other questionable instances is what led the president to ask for General Flynn's resignation.
After revelations he misled Vice President Pence and other White House officials about a conversation with the Russian ambassador concerning U.S. sanctions against Russia before President Trump took office. The vice president then vouching for Flynn on national television.
Those conversations that happened to occur around the time that the United States took action to expel diplomats had nothing whatsoever to do with those sanctions.
Evidence emerging today reports the Justice Department warned the White House last month that sanctions were raised during that conversation and Flynn could be vulnerable to Russian blackmail.
Immediately after the Department of Justice notified the White House counsel of the situation, the White House counsel briefed the president and a small group of his senior advisors.
Yet Trump saying this while the controversy was unfolding Friday.
I don't know about it. I haven't seen it.
The White House attempting to clarify his answer today.
What he was asked specifically is, was he aware of a Washington Post story? He hadn't seen that at the time.
Lawmakers on both sides now calling for an investigation.
There are tons of questions here. We need a thorough investigation.
And I want to know, did General Flynn do this by himself or was directed by somebody to do it?
In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes.
Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch with the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers, we can see everything up. The Dow 92, NASDAQ 18, S&P 500 up 9. Coming up on News 2, it was a day of love. Did you have a wonderful Valentine's Day? Do you know where the tradition came from? We'll have all that coming up. Plus, we'll hear from residents as they share the love at the end of the show. Be sure to tune in for that. Plus, our Black History recognition continues. He's a controversial film director, producer, writer, and actor noted for his many films dealing with social and political issues. We hear more about Spike Lee in our Black History Moment. Welcome back. Well, as we reported, here in the VI, many officials are talking about LIAT withdrawing flights. Now, here's what's happening with some of our Caribbean neighbors and how they're finding ways to increase flights as LIAT is withdrawing as well. Here's more.
And tourism authorities expect an increase in ART flights for the Dominica to Guadeloupe route. This is expected to cushion the effects of LIAT withdrawing its Dominica to Guadeloupe flight. LIAT's recent move to cut unprofitable routes has been in the making since last year, after its acting CEO, Julie Reefer-Jones, made the announcement in Barbados last September. LIAT disclosed last week the suspension of the Dominica-Guadeloupe route effective the 2nd of March. The regional airline, however, plans on introducing instead a return service between Antigua and Guadeloupe. Tourism Minister Robert Tong told Channel 5 News all is not lost by LIAT's action, as plans are already underway for ART to fill the gap.
So the flight will be from Antigua direct to Dominica. So basically it will no longer pick up passengers in Guadeloupe. So those persons there will have some impact. It'll also, not obviously, but it'll also have a positive impact on persons from England trying to come to Dominica because it reduces the time. In addition, we don't see any negative impact on that because by the time they put this in place, we'll also have Air Antilles, which purchased an ATR 72, and they're increasing their flights from 4 times to 5 times a week to 7 times a week from Pointe-à-Pitre, so that will offset what LIAT has missed.
The French airline ART also serves St. Lucia, Martinique, Barbados, the Dominican Republic, and St. Martin. Tong hopes LIAT can buck up as it implements its flight changes.
Well, hope you had a wonderful Valentine's. Every February 14th, candy, flowers, and gifts are exchanged between loved ones. On St. Croix, the love business was booming. Flower shops and deliveries right there found themselves very, very busy this Valentine's Day. From lilies to roses, every flower is in big demand on this special day. Florists did everything they could to make all of their deliveries and at the same time accommodate last-minute shoppers looking for that special array of flowers for the loved ones. Now on St. Thomas, it was a similar scene. Big bucks for florists and candy shops, and while millions treat their sweets to heart-shaped chocolates and flowers of all kinds, some couples use Valentine's Day to pass the rock and take the big plunge, all in the name of Saint Valentine. But who is this mysterious Saint Valentine? Well, let's take a look at the history. There are many legends. The best known began in Rome when the emperor Claudius II was involved in many bloody and unpopular campaigns. Claudius the Cruel, as he was called, was having a difficult time getting soldiers to join his military leagues. He believed that the reason was that Roman men did not want to leave their love or families. So he canceled all marriages and engagements in Rome. The good Saint Valentine, who was a priest in Rome in the year 269 AD, together with his friend Saint Marius, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's actions were discovered, he was sentenced to be beaten to death with clubs and to have his head cut off. But while in prison, it is believed that Valentine fell in love with a young girl who may have been his jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement. Before his death on the 14th day of February, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter which he signed "From Your Valentine." In 1496 AD, Pope Gelasius set aside February 14 to honor St. Valentine. An estimated 1 billion Valentine's Day cards are sent each year, making Valentine's Day the second largest card-sending holiday of the year. Now, over on Love City, love was definitely in the air this evening. Dozens of couples headed over to Love City Trunk Bay, to be exact, on St. John for the annual celebration of love, the vow renewal ceremony. St. John's Barefoot Minister Anne-Marie Porter invited couples to celebrate Valentine's Day in a meaningful, joyful way by renewing their marriage vows. She says over 1,230 couples have participated in the past 13 years. All were welcome. There was no pre-registration, no fees. Attendees just brought the loves and themselves to Trunk Bay on St. John VI. We're calling all poets, writers, storytellers, and historians. Enter for a chance to win the ICMC Centennial Spoken Word Contest. Take advantage of the opportunity to showcase your creative talents at the very next Jazz in the Park and win some great prizes. In 40 lines or less, including title and line, entrants are to create an original spoken word piece with a theme surrounding the U.S. Virgin Islands Centennial Celebration and Transfer Day. The contest is open to anyone age 16 or over, and all entries must be submitted on or before Saturday, February 18th. Entries and videos must be submitted via email by February 18th. You can log on for contest rules. The competition is open to anyone age 16 or over. Go on to the ICMC website. Virgin Islands Department of Education invites the public and members of the media to attend the 2017 Math Counts chapter competitions that's being held this week. St. Croix and St. Thomas and St. John District. St. Croix District, it's Wednesday, February 15th. University of the Virgin Islands, Great Hall, beginning at 9 a.m. 50 students representing Ricardo Richards Elementary, Alfredo Andrews Elementary, Church of God of Holiness Academy, John H. Woodson Jr., and Good Hope Country Day will be participating in this year's competition. St. Thomas St. John District on Thursday, February 16th at BCB Middle School Library, beginning at 8:30 a.m. 30 students representing Antilles School, Bertha Seba Shelter Middle School, and Peter Gruber International Academy will participate in this year's competition. Good luck to all the students. Time for a moment in Black history. Shelton Jackson Lee, better known as Spike Lee, is a controversial film director, producer, and actor noted for his many films dealing with social and political issues. Spike was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but was raised in Brooklyn, New York. He developed film skills at Clark Atlanta University and received his undergrad degree from Morehouse College. Lee's movies include School Days, Do the Right Thing, Jungle Fever, Malcolm X, and Bamboozled, just to name a few. His movies have examined diverse and complex issues ranging from race relations, the role of media in contemporary life, urban crime and poverty, and political issues. Noted film critics described Spike Lee as one of the greatest filmmakers working in America. Lee's willingness to tackle sensitive issues of relevance to the Black community has made his films profitable. Virgin Islands Police Department is reminding all participants in the Mardi Gras Parade for Saturday the 25th to pick up your vendor permit. Issuance of vendor permit is now available until Wednesday, February 22nd from 10 a.m. to 12 noon in the Records Lobby in the Wilbur H. Francis Command Center in Mars Hill, Frederiksted. For more information, you can contact the Chief's office. That number is 340-712-6043 or 340-712-6005. VI Waste Management Authority, they're advising the public of an ongoing project in the Anna's Retreat area of St. Thomas near the McBean Ballpark. Aging sewer pipes made from cast iron and Orangeburg are being replaced with new PVC lines. The affected area is between 129A to 11 and 129A to 36 Flamboyant Avenue. They say this work is just the first phase of an intensive project that will replace the 50-year-old system so as to better serve the needs of the growing community. The work currently being done is expected to be completed by February 28, 2017. Also, here's an update. The VI Waste Management Authority advises the St. Croix community that the St. Croix transfer station has resumed acceptance of the green waste. The authority has limited the loads to a maximum of 5 per day until further notice to help manage the anticipated large volume of green waste. Well, be sure to stick around. Your NEWS2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Our weather goes over the next few days, we are in for some great weather here. We take a look at our current satellite. We do see some swells coming in from these storms off from the north, but they're far enough north in the Atlantic that we're not getting too heavy of those ones. So the rip current risk that we saw earlier has really begun to diminish, but the north-facing beaches still could see that. But otherwise, for the leewards and into the Virgin Islands, mostly dry conditions moving forward. We do have kind of the remnants of a frontal system over the central Caribbean, but that's going to continue to really dismantle itself as we head over the next couple of days. So looking even closer at this, you see a couple of cloud clusters off towards our west here, or our east, I'm sorry. But that's not quite causing any issues for us. So for tonight, mainly clear skies. That's going to be the story moving in through the rest of our week. 72 degrees for our high, and tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, pretty similar to what we saw today out in St. John, as well as into St. Thomas. And then we drop down into St. Croix, and it's probably even a little bit more clear of those clouds as well. 85 degrees for our high tomorrow. As far as the waters go, on the Atlantic side, our easterly trade winds really dying down. Our pressure gradient as far as our winds go, not very heavy at all. So winds out the east about 10 knots, waves up to 5 feet possibly. So pretty calm out there. And it's pretty much the same story as you head onto the Caribbean as well. 2 to 4 feet, so slightly calmer. And our winds even calmer here as well. 5 to 10 knots, maxing out right at that 10 mark. A look at your extended forecast going to show us lots of sunshine through the end of this work week, and we will see temperatures in those mid-80s across the board. As we head into the weekend, we could just see a slight uptick in moisture here, so that is going to cause maybe the potential for some heavier cloud cover, or heavier than what we're seeing, which is nearly nothing, and then also a passing shower in store. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you. Time for our weather picture there by Kelana Pelage, sending some sunshine. Ricardo Richards Elementary School. It's our featured weather artist. Lovely day, Kelana. Hope you had a lovely day as well. Valentine's Day, sunshine. We love to see that. Send us your NEWS2 weather picture to the address on the screen. Be sure to include what we need and then tune in to see it right here on NEWS2. That is all for now. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of all of us here at NEWS2, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.
We are having a wonderful day in the Lord. Today is all about lovers. Because God is love, we should always love. And we are longing that everyone should be loved, from the youngest to the oldest. Have a wonderful day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Jesus loves you. We just have to love one another. Have a blessed day.
Ok, estamos aquí en San Tomás. Happy San Valentín para toda mi gente latina. Aquí desde San Tomás, un saludo desde Puerto Rico. También Tatiana Labor, y tú sabes que es la que hay.
From the Victoria's African Store, providing you with all natural products and African jewelry. We'd like to wish you a happy Valentine's Day, and may God bless and fill your hearts.
We wish to spread love in the community, especially to our young ones. They need love. The expressions sometimes are not acceptable, but we cannot retaliate. We have to give love so we could get love and teach them how to love and care for one another.
And we wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day, and may God bless them.